6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news, edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The sluice gates of several reservoirs have been opened. The people living in the close proximity of the flood-prone areas should be vigilant. 11 Sri Lankans who crossed to Egypt from Gaza arrive in the island. 10 newly appointed ambassadors to Sri Lanka handed over their credentials to the President. The government says it will take steps to provide relief for the people during the upcoming festive season. The National Dengue Control Unit says high-risk dengue areas. In foreign news, the US Secretary of State meets Palestinian leader in the West Bank as he pushes for pause in fighting. In sports news, uncertainty emerges over the Sri Lanka-Bangladesh World Cup clash due to severe air pollution. Our provincial correspondents say that several medium and large-scale tanks in Anuradhapura are overflowing due to the prevailing heavy rains. 8 sluice gates at the Rajangana Reservoir have been opened. A water flow of 10,850 cubic feet per second is released to the Kala Oya. 2 sluice gates at the Angamur Reservoir are opened at present. The people living in the low-lying areas of the Kala Oya and Mi Oya river basins are advised to be vigilant on the rising water levels. 8 sluice gates of the Udavalave Reservoir have been opened, releasing 7,000 cubic feet of water per second to the Valave River due to heavy rains in the area. Furthermore, 5 spill gates of the Dadru Oya Reservoir have also been opened. The Department of Irrigation said that people living in the low-lying areas must remain vigilant as the water levels of the Valave and Dadru Oya are rising rapidly. It has also issued an extension of the amber flood warnings for the river basin of the Nilvala Ganga and the Attanagala Oya for an additional 24 hours. The 11 Sri Lankans who crossed to Egypt from the Gaza Strip have arrived in the island today on board a flight from Doha in Qatar. The group includes 2 adults and 9 children, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The ministry stated that the Consular Affairs Division coordinated the arrangements for their return in collaboration with the Sri Lanka missions in Cairo, Ramallah and Tel Aviv. The entry of the 11 Sri Lankans from the Gaza Strip into Egypt via Rafah border crossings were facilitated by the Sri Lankan embassy in Cairo in coordination with the Egyptian authorities. The embassy officials visited the Rafah border to receive the standard Sri Lankans. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs facilitated the arrangements of logistics and air transport of the returnees with the assistance of the International Organization for Migration. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. 10 newly appointed ambassadors to Sri Lanka handed over their credentials to President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's house in Kandy this morning. The President's Media Division PMD said new ambassadors had been appointed for the Republic of Latvia, the Kingdom of Cambodia, the Portuguese Republic, the Republic of Suriname, the Republic of Djibouti, the Republic of Angola, the Republic of Finland, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and the Kingdom of Norway. Out of them, 9 embassies are based in New Delhi, while the Embassy of the Philippines is based in Dhaka. The Minister of Trade, Commerce and Food Security, Nalin Fernando, says that the government will take steps to provide relief for the people during the upcoming festive season. The minister said the measures have been taken to stabilize the prices of the essential items. He also said that steps have already been taken to import essentials for the upcoming festive season. HackX, the country's premier inter-university startup challenge, is now holding its grand final at the Dialogue Idea Mart auditorium premises. Undergraduates from across Sri Lanka, including both state and private universities, will be battling it out for the grand prize by pitching their innovative solutions to existing real-world problems in a tech aspect. HackX 2023 is an exhilarating event that encompasses various phases, showcasing the brilliance of young minds in the world of innovation and technology. This illustrious event is annually organized by the Industrial Management Science Students Association, the official student body of the Department of Industrial Management of the Faculty of Science of the University of Kelaniya. Radio Sri Lanka of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation is the official broadcasting partner for this event.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatma.
The National Dengue Control Unit says that the number of high-risk dengue areas is increasing. The NCD says the prevailing rainy weather conditions are the main reasons for this increase. The Director of the National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Nalian Aryavansa, says that the number of high-risk dengue areas is now 36. Many areas have been identified with dengue mosquito breeding places. Not only households, many public places, such as government and private institutions, have also been identified as dengue mosquito breeding grounds. The NCD says more than 69,000 dengue patients have been identified so far this year.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, the Sri Lanka College of Endocrinologists say that more than 23% of the Sri Lankan population has diabetes at present. The chairman of the association, Dimuthu Muthukuda, says that another 30% suffers with early diabetes situations. She said that when compared to the other Asian countries, Sri Lanka is in a high risk. There are many school children and teenagers with diabetes at present. That came to you in Watchlight in World News Headlines. The U.S. Secretary of State meets Palestinian leaders in the West Bank as he pushes for pause in fighting. Zelensky says Israel-Gaza conflict taking focus away from fighting. A DJ shot dead during a live broadcast in the Philippines. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in the occupied West Bank. President Abbas is the leader of the Palestinian Authority, which governs the parts of the West Bank not under Israeli control. Blinken has been working with leaders in the region on so-called humanitarian pause. President Joe Biden suggested there had been some progress on the issue, but Arab countries have been demanding an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The U.S. warns this would allow Hamas to regroup. The Israel-Gaza war is taking away the focus from the conflict in Ukraine, the country's president admitted. He said this was one of the goals of Russia, which launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. He denied that fighting in Ukraine had reached a stalemate, despite a recent assessment to this effect by the country's top military general. Ukraine's counter-offensive in the south has so far made little headway. This has prompted fears of war fatigue among Kiev's Western allies, with suggestions of growing reluctance in some capitals to continue giving Ukraine advanced weapons and funds. A radio anchor in the Philippines has been shot dead while performing a live broadcast. Juan Huevelan, known as DJ Johnny Walker, was shot inside his home-based studio, the police say. President Marcos Jr. condemned the murder of the radio journalist in the strongest terms. 4 journalists have been killed since Mr. Marcos Jr. took office in June of 2022, the National Union of Journalists in the Philippines said. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. The U.S. Secretary of State meets Palestinian leaders in the West Bank as he pushes for a pause in fighting. Zelensky says the Israel-Gaza conflict taking focus away from fighting. A DJ shot dead during live broadcast in the Philippines. That was World News.
Development News.
India and Sri Lanka have conducted the 33rd edition of the annual International Maritime Boundary Line meeting between the representatives of the navies and the coast guards recently. At the meeting, the maritime security in the Pork Bay and the Gulf of Mannar region, safety of fishermen, measures to curtail trafficking of contraband, among other issues too, were discussed. Ways and means to enhance existing communication networks were also discussed at length.
Moving on with sports news.
Heavy air pollution in the capital New Delhi has shrouded the World Cup clash between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh in doubt. It remains to be seen if the health of the players takes precedence over the contest tomorrow. A thick layer of toxic haze has enveloped New Delhi once again, forcing the two teams to cancel their training. Air quality is likely to remain severe till Tuesday. The International Cricket Council has made it clear that a call on the future of the match will be taken only when the match officials assess the air quality tomorrow.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Sri Lanka print community gathered recently for its highly anticipated print exhibition and awards night, displaying an exceptional level of printing quality that has garnered recognition on the global stage. Printcare plc, a leading player and exporter of world-class packaging, emerged by far the night's biggest winner, securing 24 medals for its world-class products, including the coveted Master Printer Award. Others who did well were Softwave Printing and Packaging with 14 medals and Austria Printers with 6 medals. The event highlighted the impressive array of high-quality products from participants, demonstrating that Sri Lanka's print industry has achieved a remarkable degree of high proficiency.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life ekේ change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu veena habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news, the Leisure Airlines of Switzerland, Edelweiss Air, Swiss Leisure Airlines, resumed operations to Sri Lanka ahead of the winter holidays at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayake yesterday. The airline will operate weekly flights from Zurich to Colombo till the 17th of May 2024. The airline, based at the Zurich Airport, a sister company of Swiss International Airlines Swiss and a member of the Lufthansa Group that primarily operates charter and holiday flights to 70 destinations over 30 countries worldwide.
Weather report.
The Met Department has issued an amber weather advisory for severe lightning in 6 provinces in the late hours today. According to the forecast, thunder showers accompanied by severe lightning is likely to occur at several places in the western, central, Sabaragama, north central, northwestern and southern provinces during the evening or at night. In addition, there may be temporary localized strong winds during the thunder showers. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The sluice gates of several reservoirs have been opened. The people living in the close proximity of the flood-prone areas should be vigilant. 11 Sri Lankans who crossed to Egypt from the Gaza Strip arrive in the island. 10 newly appointed ambassadors to Sri Lanka handed over their credentials to the President. The government says it will take steps to provide relief for the people during the upcoming festive season. The National Dengue Control Unit says a high-risk dengue area is increasing with high-risk dengue areas. In foreign news, the U.S. Secretary of State meets Palestinian leaders in the West Bank as he pushes for a pause in fighting. In sports news, uncertainty emerges over the Sri Lanka-Bangladesh World Cup clash due to severe air pollution. That concludes this news broadcast. You're with Radio Sri Lanka.